Hi guys, hi guys. Welcome to yet another episode of Million Kashi or Kenyans on X and political news or political pieces. So, Ipoa admits inability to identify killer of activist Rex Maasai. In short, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority has admitted its inability to identify the killer, the man who killed Rex Maasai back in June 2024 during the anti-finance protest. This comes as President William Ruto pledges 2 billion Kenyan shillings in preparation for protest victims since 2017. Now, according to Ipoa, it is saying that it's not able to bring forth who killed Rex Masai back in the anti-finance protest in 2024 because police have withheld the investigations. How does the Independent Policing Oversight Authority admit that it's not able to identify the killer of Rex Masai? While we have had the BBC look into it, we have had national media or the media look into the matter, we have CCTV cameras of people who were seen at the crime. There's a Kenyan who has made a very interesting tweet here 15 hours ago. Shola had IPOA has shocked the court with admissions that could leave Kenyans wondering whether Rex Masai will ever get justice. In court, investigators admitted they, one, never collected the bullets removed from Rex Masai's body, never collected cartridges from the scene, third, never obtained footage from a crucial CCTV camera on the same street that had a full view, never recovered the alleged murder weapon, never secured key witnesses. Now, the officer charged in the case could be freed because of lack of evidence. Like I've said, we had a face that was identified during that time. We had CCTV cameras that were actually shown or that were actually capturing the face of the man who shot Rex Masai. We already have the identity, we already had the name. But IPOA, that is the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, comes ahead and tells Kenyans it's not able to identify. How are you not able to identify when you already have the evidence? Now, on the grounds that it has not been able to secure the evidence, it was not able to secure with key witnesses who are there during the crime scene. Now, the whole thing, like I've said, this is like rage baiting Kenyans. This is coming at the same time when President William Ruto says that he's offering compensation, 2 billion compensation for the 104 youths that or people that were killed on extrajudicial killings. This is my take on it. Why do you have to compensate for the life that has already been lost? Instead of, in as much as you're compensating, you're also supposed to come up with terms and say, this is what we are going to do. Because at the end of the day, it is failure from the state's side. So why don't you put measures from the state's end? Why don't you put measures to ensure that there are no extrajudicial killings? Because at the end of the day, the state looks like they have a lot of money to spread around. How much money do we see them giving on these rallies? Money, a lot of money is poured. We also have goons that are being paid, like literally almost every day. Politicians are having a lot of money to. This war is, or this negligence is on or is with the state. It is the same state that has gone ahead or went ahead and said Kenyans or Gen Zs can be shot on the legs or should be shot on the legs. And on a national television, when William Ruto was asked, do you regret that statement of saying Kenyans or youth should be shot on the leg? It was like, no. In 2024, when the Gen Zs went out in the streets simply because the state had refused to give them a listening ear. All people, or what the youths or the Kenyans were asking, is that we need to go back to the drawing board and revise this finance bill. Because at the end of the day, we do not feel it's favoring the Kenyans, the common mwananchi. This finance bill is hurting us the common mwananchi. But it was at that time when we saw politicians at the highest ego, because on every rally they're busy saying, nasikia Gen Zs wanasema ati hiyo finance bill isipitishwe. We could see politicians in rally saying venye they are going to vote yes, and this is what provoked these Gen Zs or Kenyans to go out in the streets and storm parliament, because we cannot be out here fighting while nyinyi mnatoa marupurupu. This weight on the finance was pouring entirely on the Kenyans. So at the end of the day, it is the state's negligence, it is the ignorance of the state that has actually led to the anti-finance bill, to Kenyans storming the parliament, and now going ahead and saying that life should be compensated. You cannot compensate life with money, because at the end of the day, these families, they're not going to bring back their loved one. How do you go ahead and offer families money, 2 billion Kenya shillings? You should actually say we are putting in place this and this. Police should not do this, because this state is the one that is giving this police kichwa. Policemen are the go ahead to shoot Kenyans, to use bullets, to use live bullets. Back since 2017 or back prior, in protest there were no live bullets. We were actually just using policemen, or police officers were using rubber bullets. But 2017 is when from 2017, that is, the 2017 protest is when police officers started using live bullets in protest. So all I'm saying is we do not need, or Kenyans do not need to be compensated with money. What Kenyans need is for the state to put in place measures that are actually going to stop this extrajudicial killings. If you go ahead and compensate for the lives that have already been lost, what about tomorrow? What about in the future? These policemen, we still have faces that have not been arrested. At the end of the day, we are encouraging these police officers, or you as the state, you are encouraging these police officers to continue killing just young Kenyans, or Kenyans who are practicing their right or practicing their democracy. So when exactly does this end? Because it certainly never ends with money. To continue with the tweet, and Kenyans are now being told the cops' defense that there may not be enough evidence. This is the same concern many of us have raised for years. A case does not always have to be defeated in court. Sometimes it's weakened long before it gets there by the police. When evidence is not collected, a case becomes weaker. When witnesses are not secured, a case becomes weaker. When key footage is ignored, a case becomes weaker. And when enough evidence is missing, justice becomes harder to achieve. Many people may disagree, but most cases involving police officers can be diluted until accountability becomes almost impossible. Remember, Ipoa are also police, and they can cover for each other, which is very true. If these admissions are accurate, then the biggest question is no longer what happened to Rex Maasai. The biggest question is how so much critical evidence was allowed to slip away in one of the most watched cases in Kenya. This is why police officers should wear body cameras. Evidence should not depend on who remembers, who records, or who investigates. Justice for Rex Maasai. And the question remains, will justice be a word trending online? As a nation or as a country has always witnessed, because justice when it comes to the state, justice when it comes to people involved in politics, it only means a word that trends or just circulates for some time before everything is back to normal. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.